In this session, we're going to review how we built our staff page, which shows what departments people are in, as well as a department page, which shows what people are in it. Here we have our staff archive. We have 3 people in it: Judy Bloom, Neil Stevenson, and Louis L'Amour. You can see that Judy Bloom is in the Web Development department, Neil Stevenson is in Web Development and Children's Toys, while Louis L'Amour is in no departments at all. First, we'll look in the WordPress admin to show how we set that up. Let's edit Judy Bloom. And over here on the right, you can see we have Department with Web Development. I could, if I wished, add her to the Children's Toys. Now, Web Development and Children's Toys as departments come from the department's custom content type. And you can see here I just have Web Development and Children's Toys. I could add as many more as I wished here. Now let's take a look at the code that I used to render this here. I'm here in my theme. Here are all my theme files. I'm going to edit the loop file for staff. And this is the code for each individual item on the archive page. There's the beginning of the article, the header, the title, the entry meta, and this is where I have the title, phone, and email. If it's a manager, I indicate that it's a manager, and then right here I have a function called Topher Render Departments. Now that function comes from a must-use plugin that I created. Because that code is in a plugin rather than my theme, I get to keep it no matter what theme I use. Let's go take a look at that function. Here are my must-use plugins, and it's in topher.php. Right here at the top, I have some code that establishes the connections. That's not related to what we're talking about right now. But here's the Topher Render Departments function. It takes one input variable, my post, which just happens to be a post ID. Here we create the connection query. Then we test for a connection, instantiate some variables, and then loop through the results, assigning them to variables. Then down below that, we check to see if we got any variables. And if we did, we print out the departments. We stick them all together with commas between them, and then after that, strip off the last comma. And that's how we get a list like this. Now, if we click on one of these, it takes us to the Web Development content type. Now, this page is simply a post in the department's content type, so we could write anything on here we wanted. But something we want is to know who is in the Web Development department. The Posts to Posts plugin comes with a widget that makes this wonderfully easy. Let's take a look at that. It's right here. I'm going to drag it to my sidebar. And you could choose any connection type you wanted. At the moment, I have only this one. So I'm going to hit Save. Actually, I'm going to call it Staff. Then we will reload this one. And there we have the staff that are in Web Development. If we go back and click Children's Toys, we'll see only Neil Stevenson. Now that's great, except when we go to Neil Stevenson, on the right, what we see are the departments that he's in. That's perfect. That's exactly the information that we want, except it says staff, and we don't want that. So what we really want is one widget that shows up on a staff page showing departments, and another that shows up on departments pages showing staff. So for that, we'll use Widget Logic. Now I've installed the Widget Logic plugin, and I want this one to show up only on department pages. So I'm going to use a WordPress conditional statement called isSingular and put it only in the departments page. I need to remember the slug for departments, so I'm going to hover over this, and at the bottom of the page it'll see post type equals departments. That tells me that's the thing I need to use. So I'm going to save this one. And now on a single staff page, it's not there because I told it I only want it on departments. So now I click Web Development, and there it is. So now we could title it a little bit better. There. Now I'll make the other one. This one we'll simply call Departments. We'll use isSingular again. Check our content type. It is staff. Hit save. And now we see what departments Neil is in. So now we have a system whereby we can see all of the staff on one page, as well as what department they're in. If we click one, we get all of their information, as well as what department they're in over on the side. If we click a department, we get a listing of who's in that department, and any information over here that I put in the content for that page. Aside from creating the relationship between departments and staff, I really only wrote one function to render custom information here, and that's the departments listing. If you didn't want to do that, you could simply use the Posts to Posts widget to render all the relationships you want in the sidebar.